This is a Sports Catastrophe production. Hey there, how there, ho there. It's Jeff Coder Diamond welcoming you to another Sports Catastrophe birthday boy. And the birthday for today, August the 24th, is a former NFL coach who was known for being the Denver Broncos coach from 1995 to 2008, helping the Broncos win 2 Super Bowls after they started off 0-4 as a franchise, becoming the 7th team to win back-to-back Super Bowls. He had a 20-year head coaching campaign, which included stints with the Raiders and the Redskins, and is even the father of a head coach himself, the San Francisco's head coach. He's now 72 years old. His name, Mike Shanahan. So Mike Shanahan actually played high school football in Franklin Park, Illinois. Graduated in 1970. Then he became a quarterback at Eastern Illinois University. Unfortunately, a hard hit on the practice field ruptured one of his kidneys, which actually caused his heart to stop for 30 seconds and nearly killed him. A priest was actually summoned to administer the last rites. But thankfully, though, he survived. So after Eastern Illinois, he became a graduate assistant on Barry Switzer's staff at the University of Oklahoma, before becoming the backfield coach for Northern Arizona, and then became an offensive coordinator for Eastern Illinois for a year, then hopped to Minnesota for 1 year, and then went to the University of Florida to be offensive coordinator for a few years. And then he became an assistant with the Broncos, being the receivers coach and later offensive coordinator under Dan Reeves. This actually puts Mike Shanahan on the Tom Landry tree of coaching because Reeves was one of Landry's disciples. So anyway, Shanahan then headed to the Raiders to be the head coach, as Al Davis decided to make Shanahan head coach. Unfortunately, though, it didn't work out that well. Well, anyway, he did return to the Broncos as QB coach in 1989, but he had a massive feud. Well, there was a feud between Dan Reeves and John Elway, and Shanahan got in the middle of it. So anyway, as the Raiders head coach, he was the guy hired by the Raiders to replace Tom Flores. So anyway, the Raiders always hired it from within the organization, but then they decided to go without it. Shanahan, who was unpopular with the players, and Al Davis, who would micromanage, clashed immediately, and the Raiders fell to 7-9 the first year. All that. So anyway, things happened. Shanahan would make some bad firings and all that. And then after a 1-3 start, he would be fired by Al Davis and replaced with Art Shell, becoming the first black head coach in Raiders history. So then anyway, the Niners needed him as offensive coordinator. And he was the offensive coordinator when he won in Super Bowl 29 in 1995. Anyway, Shanahan was so exasperated at Al Davis that he ordered Elvis Grbac to throw a football at Al Davis's head while the practice for a Raiders-Niners game. But thankfully, Davis dodged it in time. Well, Shanny, with his Niners Super Bowl ring, attracted a lot of teams, and the Broncos decided to give him a chance, make him their head coach. And it worked, as he helped the Broncos win in 98 and 99 the Super Bowls. The Broncos in 96, 97, and 98 seasons went 46-10 during a 3-year span, making it the NFL record for victories in a 3-year span. Now, of course, it is a little biased because that includes playoffs, because 46 divided by 3 is 15, and I doubt Broncos went 15-1 3 straight years. But yeah, including the playoffs, they were 46-10 over a 3-year span. The 96 Broncos, well, in his second year, he held the Broncos win 13 games and win the 1 seed. Unfortunately, though, Jacksonville somehow in some way beat the Broncos 30-27 to go to the AFC title game against the Patriots. Then the 97 Broncos did quite well, had to go to Kansas City and beat them for a chance to make the Super Bowl. And then in 98, they actually started out 13-0 before settling on a 14-2 mark. Shanahan actually helped the 98 Broncos set an NFL record for first quarter points during the season because he would script the first 15 offensive plays of the game. Anyway, he was known for the offense that had sown running plays and play action passes and found unheralded running backs and turned them into league rushers behind powerful offensive lines. It was huge because Terrell Davis, Mike Anderson, Olandis Gary, Clinton Portis, Reuben Drones, and Tatum Bell all had 1,000-yard running seasons with the Broncos. And I bet you don't know any of them other than Davis and Portis. Anyway, Shanahan penned a book called Think Like a Champion, a motivational book about leadership. So anyway, Shanny would have problems with the Broncos after Terrell Davis had a career-ending injury and John Elway retired. He went 6 years without a playoff win. Fortunately, though, his Broncos did beat the Patriots in the AFC divisional round in the 2006 playoffs, but lost to the Steelers. As the Steelers took that victory, went into the Super Bowl, beat the Seahawks, and gave Jerome Bettis a send-off. After the 2008 season, in which the Broncos were 8-5 and just needed one more win to clinch the AFC West and a playoff berth, a playoff home game, in fact, they collapsed, losing the last 3 games, and the Chargers came from 5-8 to win the division on a tie break. Obviously, someone needed to be canned. In the early part of 2009, there were rumors circulating that Mike Shanahan would be head coach of Washington, replacing Jim Soren. So anyway, on November 18, 2009, there were rumors circulating that the team would part ways with Dick Jauron and give Mike Shanahan the reins. And he did. January 5th, 2010, he was formally introduced. He would also be the VP of Football Operations, which had him have the final say on football matters. And given a 5-year, $35 million contract. Well, anyway, Shanahan said Kyle would be the offensive coordinator of the Redskins. Unfortunately, in his first 2 seasons, he only won 11 games and a 3-6 start to the 2012 season, and everyone thought he was done for. However, he pulled off magic, winning 7 games in a row, helping Washington win the NFC East and have a home playoff game for the first time in 13 years. And he made Alfred Morris, a 6th-round pick, into a 1,000-yard rusher. Unfortunately, Seattle would beat Washington in the wildcard round, and worst of all, RG3, Robert Griffin III, would suffer a tear of his LCL and a damaged ACL. So that practically ruined Griffin's career in a way. So anyway, the team would struggle in 2013. And then, of course, Shanny got fired. Well, I mean, after all, the team did go 3-13. And the funny thing is that one division title was big for Shanny because the other 3 years, he actually had the Skins in last place. He was given a chance maybe to be Buffalo, Chicago, or even Oakland's head coach, but no, that wasn't true. So anyway, he was nearly hired by many teams. So in his head coaching career with the Raiders, Broncos, and Skins, he went 170 and 138 with 4 division titles and an 8-6 playoff mark, including the 2 runs to the Super Bowl with the Broncos in 97 and 98. Or 98-99 as I call it. He still has the most wins in NFL history during a 3-year period, 46. Not even the Pats have done that. Wow. The most postseason games in history over a 2-year period was 7, which is like, how could it be 7? Well, the 97 Broncos, well, the 97-98 Broncos actually had to go to the wild card round, and they won the playoffs as a wild card team. The 98 team did not need to do that. They were actually undefeated and untied for 3 straight regular seasons at home. Only the Dolphins did so. Well, that 96-98 streak and all that. Anyway, there are only 7 coaches to win back-to-back Super Bowls. Vince Lombardi, Don Shula, Chuck Noll, Jimmy Johnson, Bill Belichick, Andy Reid, and of course Shaney. Most wins in Broncos history as a head coach and highest winning percentage. So he did quite well. He was part of teams that went to 10 conference championship games and went to 5 Super Bowls. Actually, Shanahan did. Personal life, he and his wife have 2 children, Kyle and Crystal. Kyle is the head coach of the Niners now. And, Mike Shanahan is great. The Broncos just galloped over the opposition, and that's good enough for me. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond. I do.